The mountain climber's partner. Trust and teamwork. Have you ever wondered what it truly means to trust someone with your life? Not just to believe in their words, but to let your safety, your future, even your very heartbeat, rest in their hands. This is not a question we face in daily routines, but in the world of mountain climbing, it is everything. One rope, one partner, one decision, can mean the difference between triumph and tragedy. And today, I will share with you the story of two climbers, bound by a rope, who discovered that trust and teamwork is not just a choice, it is survival. The sun had just begun to rise over the jagged peaks of the Himalayas. The air was thin, sharp, and biting against the skin. Two climbers stood at the base of a towering wall of ice and rock. Their names were Daniel and Mark. Daniel was the dreamer, the one who always pushed for higher, harder, impossible climbs. Mark was the steady one, precise, careful, methodical in every step. Together they made a team that balanced passion with discipline. But this climb was different. It was the highest, most dangerous attempt they had ever made. Many had failed before them, some had never returned. Yet as they looked at each other, tightening the straps of their harnesses, they knew one thing: their survival would depend on how much they trusted one another. A thin rope connected them, not just physically, but emotionally. Every move Daniel made, Mark would feel it through the tension in the line. Every step Mark took, Daniel would rely on it for balance. This rope was more than gear, it was a symbol. A symbol that said, "I will not let you fall." Hours passed as they climbed higher. The mountain wind howled, snow blinded their eyes, rocks crumbled beneath their boots. At times, the silence between them was broken only by the sound of ice cracking beneath their axes. Yet neither complained. Neither doubted. Because in climbing, hesitation is as dangerous as recklessness. Each man's strength became the other's safety net. Each weakness was covered by the other's resilience. And that is the essence of teamwork. By midday, dark clouds began to gather. The weather, as always in the high mountains, shifted without warning. What was once a clear sky turned into a furious storm. Snow whipped against their faces, the rope pulled tight as the wind threatened to tear them from the mountain. Visibility dropped to nothing. Every instinct screamed, "Turn back." But retreat was as dangerous as moving forward. One misstep in the storm, and they would be swallowed by the abyss. It was here, in the chaos, that Daniel slipped. His crampon missed the edge of the ice, and in an instant his body swung into the void. The rope snapped tight. Mark dropped to his knees, driving his axe into the snow, anchoring them both against the storm's rage. At that moment, Daniel's life hung entirely in Mark's hands. Imagine the weight of a human life pulling on your harness. Imagine the sound of your best friend shouting, "Hold on," as the storm screams louder than his voice. Mark's arms shook. His body trembled under the strain. He could feel the rope cutting into his gloves, the snow sliding beneath his knees. But he did not let go. Because to let go of the rope was to let go of Daniel. And to let go of Daniel was to let go of the very meaning of trust. Minutes felt like hours. Every second was a battle of faith and fear. Daniel dangled in the void, unable to see, unable to climb back up without Mark's support. And yet, he did not panic. He trusted. He trusted that Mark would not let him fall. With every ounce of strength he had left, Mark anchored himself deeper into the ice. He shouted through the storm, "Daniel, pull yourself up, I've got you." Those words carried more power than the wind. Because in that moment, Daniel wasn't just hearing instructions. He was hearing a promise. Hand by hand, inch by inch, Daniel fought to climb the rope. His muscles burned, his lungs screamed for oxygen, and the abyss beneath him seemed endless. But with each pull, he trusted that Mark would hold. And with each hold, Mark trusted that Daniel would keep climbing. It wasn't just a rescue. It was a partnership, two men refusing to let go of each other's lives. Finally, after what felt like eternity, Daniel's hand gripped the ledge again. Mark reached out, grabbed him, and pulled him back onto the mountain's edge. They collapsed into the snow, exhausted, shaking, but alive. No words were needed. The rope had already spoken for them. The storm raged on, yet something inside them refused to quit. They had come too far, endured too much, and held on too tightly to turn back now. Step by step, side by side, they pushed upward. Every swing of the ice axe, every foothold, every breath was shared. And then, hours later, through clouds and snow, the peak revealed itself. The summit. The very top of the world. Daniel and Mark stood side by side, arms raised against the storm. Not because they had conquered the mountain, but because they had conquered fear, doubt, and the temptation to give up. Up there, above the world, they understood something deeper than victory. The mountain was never their enemy. Their only true challenge was to trust each other. When they finally descended, Daniel turned to Mark and said, "Up there, I didn't survive because I was strong. I survived because I trusted you." Mark smiled, shaking his head. "No, Daniel. We survived because we trusted each other, and that's the truth, isn't it? In life, just like on the mountain, no one truly climbs alone. We are all tied to someone. A family member, a friend, a mentor, a colleague. At some point, each of us will hang on the edge of life's cliff, and it will not be our strength that saves us, but the hands that hold the rope. Trust and teamwork is not weakness. It is the highest form of strength. Because when we trust, we give others the power to lift us, and we give ourselves the power to lift them. So ask yourself, who holds your rope? Who do you trust so deeply that you know, when you slip, they will not let you fall? And just as importantly, whose rope are you holding? Because trust is not one-sided. It is a bond, a commitment, a promise that says, "I will stand with you. I will fight for you. I will hold on, no matter the storm." The story of Daniel and Mark is not just about climbing mountains. It is about climbing life. Your mountain may not be covered in ice and snow, but it will be steep, it will be dangerous, and it will test you. And when it does, you will discover that your greatest strength is not found in standing alone, but in standing together. So remember this: one rope, one partner, one act of trust. That is what makes the impossible possible. And as you face your own mountains in life, never forget that the people you trust, and the people who trust you, are the difference between falling and reaching the summit. And that is the story of The Mountain Climber's Partner, Trust and Teamwork. If this message inspired you, share it with someone you trust. Because together, we climb higher.